Hey, in previous videos I've been describing my writing process using one of my short stories, Rain. And now in this video we're going to talk about falling action. Falling action is what happens after the climax. It's what happens to the main character after the climax of the story. So you have it's sort of like a peak, and at the top of the peak is the climax. And when you go down, you have the falling action. So in Rain, the climax for her, or the turning point, or when things in her life changed, is when her and her father got kicked out of the house. They was homeless. Rain woke up one day and her father wasn't there for her. She ran into her best friend and she ended up selling on the street, selling drugs for her best friend. So all of that happened in between chapter 4 and chapter 5. And this chapter is called Ali, and it's describing Tommy's brother. So everything that Rain is experiencing and going through is a result of hanging around with Tommy. She's hanging around with Tommy because she don't know where her father is. So she just latched on to the person next to her, whoever was next to her, there for her. And that was Tommy. So Ali is Tommy's brother, and I wrote a chapter about him because when things change for them, then things change for Rain as well. Okay, so Ali. There were a lot of articulate people on the streets without a college degree or even a high school diploma. Ali was one of them. He was the most powerful person on 47. He started selling drugs around 12 years old. Before he was old enough to have a driver's license, he was known for driving through the neighborhood in some of the most expensive cars, whose interior vibrated when his stereo system was at its maximum. He wasn't the most handsome male in the neighborhood, but by 18, he was named the father of at least 3 children by 3 different girls. He took care of all his children. Ali got his claim to fame from shooting and killing the biggest drug dealer on 47, King James. Ali thought he was being cheated by King James and shot him dead on the corner of Michigan in front of the Roosevelt apartment buildings, the hottest drug spot in the neighborhood at the time. The news spread through the streets like wildfire, and just as quick as Ali was the highest ranking drug dealer on 47. Ali didn't get charged for the murder because everyone wanted King James dead, and as a reward, he ran half of the blocks without paying off anyone. By the age of 21, Ali was a wise old man, king of his village with many wives and twice as many children, servants, and followers. His circle of friends were all of his neighbors, aldermen, businessmen, policemen, top-notch lawyers, Tommy and I. When Ali, Tommy, and I were alone, Ali preached against the hustle. He said we needed to stop soon and go back to school and make something of ourselves because fast money is neither easy nor does it last long. He said he has nightmares every night thinking about what he did to King James, and he knew he was going to die the same way. Ali put down his ghetto celebrity life front and told us how the game eats him alive. He wanted to get out but couldn't, not because of the women he had to please and the babies to feed. He couldn't get out because of his insatiable thirst for the money and power he received from the streets. His pride was a willing slave to the hustle, and he was just as much of an addict as his best customer. Tommy eagerly volunteered to take Ali's place, but Ali frowned upon it. Ali wanted to move his family away from 47. Tommy frowned upon that idea. Ali preached about loyalty and trust and how he received none and rarely gave it. He spoke of many traitors in his circle, and in his last days he feared for his life. Ali didn't need to stand on the corner to sell drugs. He had people to do it for him. Nevertheless, when he did stand on the corner, it was like showtime at the Apollo on 47. Aspiring rappers, singers, and dancers performed for him because they knew he had money to jumpstart their career. Ali was a comedian though. He picked someone out of the crowd and roasted them until he nearly brought them to tears. Everybody was outside on the first day of nearly 70-degree weather since a brutal Chicago winter. I was on my usual post, leaning against some car parked on Vincennes in front of the corner store. A block up just before King Drive, I could see a huge crowd forming. I heard laughter at Ali's voice and I knew he was roasting someone. Things were normal until I heard an angry "fuck you" from the crowd. The angry man got in Ali's face. "You ain't shit but a bitch ass nigga," from where I stood. I could see the man punch Ali's face. Ali and the guy tussled and everyone stood and watched the two swing on each other. People came from out of nowhere to watch the fight. I ran to the fight too, but my eyes were fixed on the stares of onlookers. I saw the hate in their eyes. They were ready to join in, but not to help Ali. The people I recognized as his friend wanted him dead that day. Two loud popping noises pierced the shouts of onlookers, and I stopped breathing as if I had been shot. Ali knew this day was coming soon, his last day on the block. Everyone ran away from him, from the dying man, holding on to a light pole. His white t-shirt stuck to his skin by the immense amount of blood pouring from his wounds. I reached my hand to him because I couldn't move my legs. I stood frozen until I heard the emergency sirens, and I too ran away from Ali. He died that day, but his reign of power wasn't over until his casket was lowered into the ground and dirt began to pile on top of it. His funeral was the talk of the streets, and nearly every person in the neighborhood attended the social event of the year. It started with a visitation line that stretched outside the funeral home for blocks. The funeral home was packed an hour before starting time. People talked about this and that and gave their account on Ali's demise. Everybody knew Ali's murderer. After all, he was shot in broad daylight. However, no one knew who would take his place. The chatter was stopped by a shrill cry only the mother of a slain child could possess. She was almost dragged into the room by the ushers on each side of her. No words came out of her mouth, just awful screams that brought tears to my eye. I saw Tommy's eyes swell with emotions and watched him swallow them hard. Next, each of Ali's girlfriends came strolling down the aisle, each tearless and dressed for clubbing as if they were looking for the next man to take Ali's place. The children walked solemnly by their mother's side with no authentic looks of sadness on their faces. They were too young to understand what was going on. It took another hour for everyone to settle down and allow the pastor to speak. Ali's mother moaned during the entire service, the pastor's sermon, the eulogy, and the many songs. There was a huge procession to Ali's burial, and as he was lowered into the ground, many bandanas were thrown into his grave. The repast was held at Ali's girlfriend's apartment, but there were so many people that it was moved outside to a nearby vacant lot. People ate, drank, and danced. Ali's mother sat at the center of the long table adorned in black and red and was served by many as if she was a queen. The party lasted into the darkness and almost met sunrise. The sun's casting of a mixture of red, yellow, and orange over the sky marked the end of Ali's reign, the end of the way things ran on the streets. There was no more one person operating for a 4-8 block stretch. Someone would set up shop on Vincennes, and the very next block may belong to someone else. There was fighting within the gang because it wasn't enough to claim a block as your own. You had to protect it at any cost, even if it meant taking a life in the most gruesome or torturous way possible, to show everyone else you meant business. The streets were riddled with bullets at all times of day. Emergency sirens were added to the street's melody. Dead bodies were found in abandoned buildings, vacant lots, and in cars on a daily basis. Tommy and I had no stake at the blocks up for grab. Someone took our block and we couldn't move to another one because we weren't fighters or killers. Tommy and I wasn't selling drugs like we used to. So I used my savings to buy food and pay for nights at the hotel. When the money got low, Tommy got desperate. He used the last of it to buy drugs. He sold wherever he pleased along the side streets. I was by Tommy's side like a shadow. I knew what we were doing could have gotten us killed. Everybody warned us to stop, but Tommy was just as greedy as his brother. We stayed out for days at a time and rented a room and bought food when we were weak and could barely see straight. Okay, and that's the end of Ali. That's the end of that chapter. So, like I said, that was the falling action. So as a result of what happened in the climax, which was Rain being kicked out, and living on the streets. Now she's running around with Tommy, and Tommy, he really don't have any plan for his life, so they're just running around selling drugs or whatever they can to survive. And we're almost done with the story. I have 2 more chapters. So when you write your book and you write your outline, think about the conflicts, think about the turning point, which would probably like be in the middle of your story. The turning point would change. It would change the character. It will change the way the character do things. So after you have the climax, the highest point of conflict, you have the follow action, and that's what happens to the character as a result of the conflict. So stay tuned for the last 2 chapters, and we'll see what's going to happen to Ray.